My sister kicked me out of her wedding, so I walked away, and everything fell apart. Have you ever given everything you had to someone? Your time, your money, your heart, only to have them toss you aside like you never mattered? Yeah, that was me, just a few months ago. I'm Rachel Dawson, 30 years old, a brand designer from Austin, Texas, and this story, this one still stings to tell. It all started with a message, one that flipped my world upside down. My phone buzzed as I was finishing a client's logo mock-up. I glanced down and froze. You don't need to come to my wedding. You're not part of this anymore. I blinked, rereading it like maybe I'd imagined the words. But no, it was from my sister Jenna, the same person whose entire wedding I'd spent 3 months designing. From invitations to table settings, even the custom signage that matched her color palette perfectly. All of it. My time, my effort, my dime, and just like that, I was not part of this anymore. My heart sank so fast it felt like gravity had doubled. I stared at the text, my fingers numb, my brain just looping. What did I do? My first instinct was to call her, demand an explanation. But something in me stopped. Instead, I set the phone down, took a slow breath, and just whispered to myself, "Okay, Rachel, if this is how they want it, fine." But I wasn't fine. Not even close. That night I couldn't sleep. I sat at my desk, scrolling through photos of the venue I'd found, that rustic lakeside barn near Austin that I'd booked under my own account. The caterer deposit? Paid. The floral designer? My contact. The custom table decor? All sitting in boxes in my apartment's spare room. 3 months of work. Done, and she didn't even say why. The next morning I called my mom, hoping she'd talk some sense into Jenna. "Mom," I said, trying to sound calm, "did you know Jenna uninvited me?" There was a pause, that kind of pause that says everything before words do. "Rachel, honey," she said softly, "Jenna's under a lot of stress. Maybe just give her space right now." I couldn't believe it. Space? After everything I'd done? I laughed. One of those bitter, shaky laughs that come right before tears. "So that's it? I just sit here and take it?" Mom sighed. "It's her big day. Don't make it harder." Harder? I was the one who made the day possible. By noon, I was pacing my apartment, my hands trembling as I stared at my phone. Screw it, I thought, and I called Jenna. She picked up after 2 rings, her tone already clipped. "What do you want, Rachel?" "I want to know why you told me not to come to your wedding," I said, my voice shaking. She exhaled sharply, like I was exhausting her just by existing. "Look, it's not personal. Mason's family. They want a certain vibe. You just don't fit it." I froze. "A certain vibe? Are you serious?" "It's about the guest list, the photos, the atmosphere. You'll understand someday," I wanted to scream. I'd designed her dream wedding. Her vibe was literally my creation. But she didn't stop. "I'm sure you'll still help handle the decor and stuff. I just don't think you should be there that day." "It's complicated. Complicated, right?" I swallowed hard, forcing my voice steady. "I spent months building this for you, Jenna. I've paid deposits with my own money, worked after hours to make everything perfect, and you're saying I can't even attend?" Silence. Then she said, cold as ice, "I appreciate what you've done, but you're making this about yourself." And that's when I realized this wasn't just about the wedding. This was about control. I hung up before she could say another word. My hands were shaking so bad I nearly dropped the phone. I sat there for a long time, staring out the window at the Austin skyline, the sunlight hitting the glass buildings like nothing in the world had changed, except everything had. That night, Mom called again. "Rachel, honey, don't overreact. Just help Jenna finish up the planning and then take a step back." I laughed, a low, bitter sound. "Help her? She literally kicked me out of her wedding." "She didn't mean it like that," Mom said. "Family sticks together." "Funny," I said, "because it doesn't feel like we're sticking together when I'm the only one doing the work." I hung up. That's when something inside me shifted. If they wanted to play this game, if they thought they could use me, erase me, and still expect me to deliver a picture-perfect wedding, They had no idea who they were dealing with. I leaned back in my chair, a slow smirk forming. "You want a certain vibe?" I muttered. "Oh, you'll get one. And trust me, what came next?" It turned that perfect wedding into something no one would ever forget. So if you've ever been pushed aside by your own family, if you've ever given your all just to be told you're not enough, yeah, you're going to want to stick around for this one. The next morning, I woke up to 3 missed calls from my dad and 1 from my aunt, which honestly was already a bad sign. When your family suddenly remembers your number right after kicking you out of a wedding, you know something's up. I brewed a cup of coffee, sat on the couch in my oversized hoodie, and hit call. Dad answered immediately, voice full of that classic "I'm disappointed in you" energy. "Rachel, I heard about your argument with your sister," he said. "We all just need to calm down. Jenna's under pressure." "Pressure?" I scoffed. "Dad, she uninvited me from her wedding, after I basically built it from scratch." He sighed, like I was being dramatic. "It's not the end of the world, Rach. You know how emotional brides get." I pinched the bridge of my nose. Yeah, emotional enough to erase me from her big day while still expecting me to coordinate everything behind the scenes. Dad went quiet for a beat. "Look, Mason's parents offered to cover part of the honeymoon, but they were expecting our family to contribute too." I sat up straight. "Contribute what exactly?" $3,000, he said like it was no big deal. "We thought maybe you could handle that since you've been helping with the wedding anyway." I literally laughed out loud. "You want me to give her $3,000 for a honeymoon I'm not even invited to?" He cleared his throat, obviously annoyed. "Rachel, don't make this harder than it needs to be. Family pulls together." That word again. Family. The one they loved to throw around whenever they needed something from me. "Dad," I said flatly, "I've already spent my own money booking venues, paying deposits and ordering decorations. I'm tapped out. You and Mom can handle this one." He muttered something about me being selfish before hanging up. Classic. I sat there staring at the wall, my heart thudding. I wasn't just excluded. I was being treated like an ATM with feelings they could ignore. Later that day, I checked my email to distract myself, but instead of peace, I got a slap in the face. A notification popped up. "Jenna and Mason's wedding update. RSVP list finalized." Curiosity got the better of me. I clicked it, and there it was, the guest list. Every name, every +1. My cousins, my coworkers, even my ex-boyfriend, and all invited. Everyone but me. I actually said it out loud. "Are you kidding me right now?" Scrolling further down, I saw photos attached from a recent wedding prep brunch. Everyone smiling, mimosas raised. My sister glowing like she hadn't just ghosted her own blood. Then I saw the caption. "Can't wait for the big day with my favorite people. Bridal bliss, no drama allowed. No drama allowed?" "Girl, you started the drama." My phone buzzed again. It was a DM from my cousin Lindsay, who'd been at the brunch. "Hey Rach, saw your name wasn't on the list. Everything okay?" I typed out. Apparently I'm not part of the vibe, but deleted it before sending. What was the point? Instead I just sent, "Yeah, I'm good. Totally fine." Spoiler, I was not totally fine. That night, my best friend Tara Morales, a PR strategist and my ride or die since college, came over with 2 bottles of wine. She listened while I unloaded everything. The text, the phone calls, the honeymoon demand, the brunch photos. All of it. Tara just shook her head, sipping from her glass. "Girl, you've been breaking your back for them and they're treating you like an unpaid intern. Why are you still managing that wedding?" I blinked. "Because if I don't, it'll fall apart. I signed all the contracts under my name." She raised an eyebrow. "Okay, and what happens if you don't manage it?" Her words hit me like a cold splash of water. I frowned. "You mean just stop?" She nodded. "Yep, pull out. Let them handle their own chaos. You don't owe them a thing." I stared at my laptop sitting open on the coffee table. All those spreadsheets and emails staring back like ghosts of my unpaid labor. Could I really walk away? Every contract had my name on it. The florist, the caterer, the venue. I was the glue holding everything together. If I walked, everything would crumble. And for the first time, that didn't sound like a bad thing. I sat there swirling my wine, my brain buzzing louder than the bottle Tara had just popped open. Maybe you're right, I said slowly. Maybe they need to see what happens when I stop fixing everything. Tara grinned. That's my girl. Time to make them realize who really ran the show. I felt a strange calm settle over me. A plan was forming, one that was equal parts satisfying and dangerous. I wasn't going to argue anymore. I wasn't going to beg for respect. I was going to disappear and let my absence do all the talking, because if they thought they could replace me that easily... Oh, they were about to learn the hard way, so yeah, I made a decision that night, one that flipped their perfect wedding into something out of a reality show meltdown. And if you think that was wild, wait till you hear what happened when I actually pulled the plug. You ever reach that point where you're just done? Like every ounce of you is screaming, nope, I'm not doing this anymore? Yeah, that's exactly where I was. The next morning, I woke up with one thought echoing in my head. They don't deserve my effort. No more spreadsheets. No more late-night design revisions. No more. Can you just handle this, Rach? Nope. I was officially checked out. I made myself a strong cup of coffee, sat down at my desk, and opened my email. The subject line I typed felt like freedom itself. Event management update. Rachel Dawson. I kept it short, polite and professional, the kind of message that says, I'm done, without actually spelling it out. Due to unforeseen personal reasons, I'll be stepping away from managing Jenna and Mason's wedding event. All vendor communications will now go through Jenna directly. Thank you all for your hard work and understanding. Click. Send. My phone buzzed within minutes. First Amber, the florist. Wait, you're stepping back? Is everything okay? Then John, the caterer. Jenna doesn't know the delivery schedule. Who's handling logistics now? And finally, Carla, the venue manager. Rachel, we literally need you for final payment confirmations. Are you sure? Oh, I was sure. I responded with a smiley face emoji and a quick, yep, they'll take it from here. Then I shut my laptop, leaned back, and let out the kind of laugh that's half nerves, half victory. Girl, you really did it. Tara texted me. Yep, I replied. Operation Poof is a go. I wasn't trying to sabotage anything. Okay, maybe a tiny bit. But mostly I just wanted peace. That afternoon, I treated myself to lunch downtown. Sunshine, tacos, and zero family drama. Felt weirdly illegal, like I was skipping class, but for adulthood. Meanwhile, my phone started lighting up like a Christmas tree. Mom called first, ignored, then Jenna, ignored again. Then a text. Rachel, what the hell did you do? Carla said you quit! I smirked and typed back, oh, don't worry, sis. You've got a great vibe. I'm sure it'll be perfect without me. No response. Figures. By 6 p.m., I was getting emails from confused vendors, trying to sort through chaos my sister didn't even realize she'd inherited. I imagined her sitting at her desk, clutching her phone, realizing she had no idea how to manage a single part of her perfect day. For months, she'd relied on me for everything, timelines, contracts, even color palettes. Without me, the whole thing was basically a house of cards. And yeah, part of me felt guilty, but another part, the tired, heartbroken part, felt like finally, someone else was carrying the weight I'd been dragging alone. 2 days later, my mom showed up at my apartment unannounced. She knocked so hard I thought the door might crack. I opened it, and there she was, hands on hips, classic mom stance. Rachel Ann Dawson, she snapped. What have you done? I crossed my arms. I took a step back like you told me to. This isn't funny, she said, marching inside. The vendors are calling nonstop. Jenna's in tears. I shrugged. Maybe she shouldn't have uninvited her wedding planner then. Rachel, this is family, she said again. That word like nails on a chalkboard now. I just looked at her and said, No, Mom, this is consequence. She froze, eyes narrowing. You're really proud of yourself, aren't you? No, I said quietly. Just finally free. She huffed and stormed out, muttering something about me ruining Jenna's big day. After the door slammed, I stood there for a moment, heart racing. Then I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it felt so damn good to finally stand up for myself. That night, Tara came over with pizza and a bottle of wine. "So," she grinned, "how's your little rebellion going?" I smirked. "Oh, it's only just begun." We toasted to new beginnings, me finally learning the art of saying no, and her cheering me on like a proud coach. But the real fun? That came the next morning. I was halfway through my coffee when my phone buzzed again. It was a text from Carla, the venue manager. "Rachel, quick question. Is Jenna aware the final payment was due yesterday? Because the venue might be released to another client if it's not processed by noon." I blinked. Oh, wow, I had all the paperwork, all the payment receipts, all the digital copies tied to my account, and if Jenna didn't handle it, well, there might not even be a venue. I sat there sipping my coffee, that slow, mischievous grin forming. "Guess it's time," I whispered to myself, "to let the real show begin." Because what happened next? Oh, it wasn't just chaos. It was the kind of meltdown you only see in viral TikToks and bad reality TV. And yeah, I might have been sipping a margarita while it all went down. So, remember how I said things were about to get messy? Yeah, I underestimated that. It started small, a few confused emails, a couple of panicked texts. Then it snowballed faster than I could have ever imagined. By Friday morning, my phone was lighting up like Vegas on New Year's Eve. First Carla, the venue manager again. "Rachel, I need to confirm. Is the Dawson wedding still happening next Saturday? Because the balance hasn't cleared and I've got another client waiting." I took a sip of my iced latte, smiled, and typed back. "Hey Carla, you'll need to reach out to Jenna directly now," a few minutes later. "She said you were handling that." "Not anymore," I replied. And just like that, I knew the countdown had begun. By noon, John, the caterer, was calling nonstop. I finally picked up just to stop the buzzing. "Rachel, please tell me you confirmed the menu with Jenna. She's not answering my calls." I could hear pots clanging behind him. He was probably mid-shift. "Nope," I said cheerfully. "That's her department now." He groaned. "Oh, you gotta be kidding me. She doesn't even know what a vendor contract is. She thought invoice was a decoration theme." I snorted, trying not to laugh out loud. "Good luck, John." By the time I hung up, my phone was still buzzing. My mom, then my dad, then finally, Jenna. I stared at her name on the screen. My thumb hovered over the green button, and then I hit ignore. Petty? Maybe? Satisfying? Oh, absolutely. I spent that evening on my couch, wrapped in a blanket, watching reruns of The Office while eating takeout sushi. The most peaceful night I'd had in months. Meanwhile, chaos was brewing. Saturday morning, Tara texted me a screenshot from Instagram with the caption, I think your sister's losing it." I opened the post and nearly spit out my coffee. Jenna had posted a crying selfie on her story with the caption, "People you trust will always let you down, but at least love is real." Oh boy. The comment section was already a war zone. Half the guests were confused, the other half were gossiping. Then someone dropped, "Didn't Rachel plan the whole thing? What happened?" And just like that, the internet started connecting dots faster than she could delete comments. Tara texted again. "Girl, she's spiraling. She just posted in a wedding forum begging for a new coordinator with 1 week left." I couldn't help it. I laughed so hard I cried. 1 week before the wedding? Good luck, sis. By Monday, vendors started dropping like flies. Carla emailed again, saying the venue was officially released to another couple. John canceled the catering because no payments cleared. The florist texted me a screenshot of Jenna's attempt at negotiation, and it was brutal. "Jenna, can you maybe do 25 centerpieces for $200 total? I'll tag your business on Insta." Florist, "Ma'am, that doesn't even cover the flowers." I swear, I almost choked on my coffee reading that, and then, the cherry on top, Jenna finally texted me again. "Rachel, I need you to fix this. The venue's gone, the caterer quit, and Mom's freaking out." Oh, how the tables turned. For a moment, a tiny part of me felt bad. This was my sister, after all. But then I remembered every late night I'd spent trying to make her day perfect. Every time she dismissed me. Every time she said I wasn't part of the vibe. Nah, this was karma in a veil. I typed back, "Hey sis, I wish I could help, but I'm actually out of town next week. Hope it all works out." Then I locked my phone, turned up my music, and danced around my apartment like a total maniac. Tara called mid-dance, laughing so hard she could barely speak. "Rachel, stop, you're evil," she said between giggles. "Not evil," I said. "Just done being the family doormat." We laughed until our sides hurt. And honestly, for the first time I felt light, like I'd finally taken my power back. But here's the thing about karma. It doesn't stop just because you're over it. Because what happened next? Let's just say it made the chaos look like a dress rehearsal. It started with a phone call, one that made me drop my margarita and say out loud, "You've got to be kidding me," and that, my friend, was the moment this whole thing went from messy to legendary. The call came in on a Wednesday night, right when I was mid-sip on my margarita, scrolling through Airbnb listings for a spontaneous weekend trip. My phone lit up with Dad's name. I sighed, rolled my eyes, and let it ring twice before answering. "Rachel," he said, voice tight. "We have a serious problem." I leaned back on the couch, trying not to laugh. "Let me guess. Jenna finally realized Pinterest boards don't plan weddings?" "Rachel, this isn't funny," he snapped. "The wedding's been postponed." I froze. "Wait, postponed? Why?" He sighed, that deep, frustrated dad sigh that always meant something bad. "Because the venue fell through, the caterer backed out, and Mason's parents are threatening to pull their funding." I couldn't help it. I snorted. Well, who could have seen that coming? "Rachel," he barked. "This is your sister's big day. She's devastated." "Devastated?" I said, setting my drink down. "Dad, she kicked me out of her wedding, then expected me to keep working for free like her personal assistant. I warned you guys this would happen." He went quiet. I could hear muffled voices in the background, probably Mom, panicking like the sky was falling. Finally, he said, "Your mother wants you to come over." "We need to talk," I sighed. "No, Dad, I'm not walking back into that circus." "Rachel, no," I said, cutting him off. "You all made your choices. Now you get to live with them." I hung up before he could say another word. For the next few hours, my phone blew up with texts. Mom begging me to just help a little. Jenna sending crying emojis and guilt-trippy messages like, "I can't believe you're letting this happen." I muted them all. Then Tara called. "Okay, don't freak out," she said. "But your sister's meltdown just hit Facebook." "What?" I sat up, opening the app. And there it was. Jenna's public post. A full-blown essay that started with, "Sometimes the people you trust the most turn out to be the reason. Everything falls apart." Oh, my God, she wrote about how I'd abandoned her in her time of need and how family doesn't walk away, and how she hoped someday I'd understand what unconditional love really means. The comment section? A disaster. Half the relatives were sending her heart emojis. The other half, mostly friends who knew the real story, were not holding back. "Didn't Rachel plan your entire wedding, though? Kinda sounds like she was used, not the other way around." "Girl, accountability is free." I laughed so hard I had to put my phone down. "Oh, Jenna, this is not your redemption arc," I muttered. But the real twist came an hour later, when I got a call from Mason, her fiancé. Now, I hadn't spoken to him in months. The dude barely made eye contact at family dinners, so hearing his name on my screen was weird enough. I answered. Hey?" "Rachel," he said quietly. "I'm really sorry about all this." I blinked. "Wait, you're sorry?" "Yeah, I didn't know she kicked you out. She told me you backed out last minute and left her hanging." I let out a sharp laugh. "Of course she did," he sighed. "Look, she's been really stressed, but this whole thing's gotten out of control. The venue's gone, vendors are bailing, and she's blaming everyone but herself." "Shocker," I said. He hesitated. "To be honest, I'm starting to wonder if this wedding's even a good idea anymore." My jaw dropped. "Hold up, are you saying what I think you're saying?" He didn't answer right away. Then quietly, "She's not the person I thought she was. I think we rushed into this." I sat there speechless. I mean, sure, I wanted karma to bite, but this? "Mason, that's..." Wow, you okay? He chuckled bitterly. I'll live. I just wanted you to know I don't blame you. You didn't ruin anything. You just stopped covering for her. After we hung up, I just sat there staring at my phone, my margarita forgotten. It hit me. All this chaos, all this noise. It wasn't revenge anymore. It was the truth finally catching up to everyone. For months, I'd been the one holding everything together. And the second I stepped away, it all fell apart. It was sad, but it was also kinda poetic. Tara called again later that night, screaming, "Rachel, oh my God, check Jenna's Insta." I opened it, and my jaw hit the floor. The wedding countdown post was gone. Every photo with Mason, deleted. Her bio now read, "Healing and starting over." Oh boy, yep, the wedding was officially off. I leaned back, staring at the screen, a weird mix of shock and peace flooding through me. But here's the wild part. That wasn't even the craziest twist. Because a week later, something happened that I never saw coming. Something that flipped the entire story upside down. And suddenly, I wasn't just the girl who walked away. I was the one in the spotlight. I honestly thought that was the end of it. Wedding's off, family's furious, I finally have peace. Roll credits, right? Wrong. Because apparently, when your sister's meltdown gets public and your quiet little "I'm done" moment hits the internet talks. It started with a text from Tara on a random Tuesday morning. "Girl, you're trending." I almost spit out my coffee. Trending for what? I haven't even tweeted in like 2 years. She sent me a screenshot. There it was. A viral Facebook post titled, "Bridesmaid fired for not fitting the vibe gets the last laugh." Someone had pieced together my sister's meltdown posts. A few screenshots from the vendor group chat that leaked, and boom, it blew up. Thousands of comments, hundreds of shares. People were calling it the Great Wedding Revenge of 2025. And the best part? They were all on my side. Good for her. Family or not, boundaries are boundaries. This is the most satisfying karma story I've ever read. Rachel, if you're reading this, you're my hero. I sat there in shock, scrolling through strangers cheering me on like I was some kind of folk hero for overworked sisters everywhere. By lunchtime, Tara was laughing on the phone. "Congrats, babe. You're officially internet famous. TikTok's eating this up." "TikTok?" I said. "You're kidding." "Nope," she said. "People are making dramatic reenactments with wedding props and everything. There's even a hashtag, and Rachel was right." I just buried my face in my hands, half mortified, half wheezing with laughter. Oh my God, this is insane. By that evening, I had messages in my DMs from event planners, bridal consultants, and random followers saying things like, "You inspired me to finally say no to toxic clients." Even a local Nashville podcast reached out asking me to share my story. It was surreal. I'd spent months being made to feel small, unimportant. And suddenly, people were calling me brave. Tara said it best. "Girl, this is your redemption arc. Don't waste it." So, for the first time ever, I posted my side of the story. Nothing bitter, nothing shady, just honest. I wrote, "Sometimes walking away is the only way to remind people what you were bringing to the table." I didn't ruin anyone's wedding. I just stopped fixing their mess, and man, it exploded. Within a day, it had over 40,000 likes and thousands of comments. People shared their own stories. Sisters, friends, coworkers, all saying they'd been where I was. Turns out there are a lot of people who've been the Rachel in their families. The support was wild. I went from crying over rejection texts to getting offers to collaborate on wedding blogs, empowerment podcasts, even a lifestyle magazine feature. Mom called me that week, her tone softer than I'd heard in months. "Rachel," she said, "I saw the post. Maybe we didn't treat you right." That one hit hard. I didn't gloat. I didn't yell. I just said, "Yeah, Mom, maybe you didn't." We talked for a bit, not about fixing the past, but about understanding it. For once, I didn't feel like the problem. I felt like the adult in the room. Even my dad texted later, "You handled this with class. Proud of you." And that one? That made me tear up. But the most shocking message came 2 days later. A simple DM on Instagram from an account I didn't recognize. It read, "Hey Rachel, it's Mason. Can we talk?" My jaw literally dropped. I hadn't heard from him since the wedding imploded. My first instinct was to ignore it, but curiosity got me. I opened it. He'd written, "I just wanted to say thank you, for real. You showed me who Jenna really was before I made a bigger mistake. I'm sorry for everything you went through." I stared at that message for a long time, not sure how to feel. It was weird. All this chaos, all this pain, and somehow I came out of it not bitter, but free. I didn't reply right away. I just closed the app and sat there, staring out my window, smiling to myself. For once, the story wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about reclaiming peace. But, before you think this is where it all neatly wrapped up, it didn't. Because right when I thought life was finally chill, when the internet had calmed down and I was starting to move on, something unexpected happened. Let's just say, my story got a whole new audience, one that would change my life in a way I never saw coming. So remember how I said my story got a new audience? Yeah. Turns out, new audience was putting it lightly. It started about a month after everything blew over. I was finally back to normal, working on freelance design gigs, binging Netflix at night, no family drama, no viral chaos. Just peace. Then one afternoon, I got an email with the subject line, "We'd love to feature your story, Rachel." I almost deleted it. I figured it was spam or another random blog trying to ride the trend. But when I clicked it open, my jaw hit the floor. It was from a producer at a major daytime talk show. They wanted me to come on, share my side of the wedding meltdown story, live on air. I literally laughed out loud. Me on TV? No way! Tara, of course, lost her mind when I told her, "Girl, this is your moment. America loves a comeback queen. You have to do it!" I hesitated. I mean, I was just a designer from Austin who accidentally went viral because of family drama. But deep down, I kinda knew she was right, so... A week later, I found myself standing backstage in a studio in Los Angeles. Full hair and makeup, mic clipped to my collar, heart pounding so hard I thought the sound guy could hear it. The host, all smiles and charisma, greeted me as I walked on stage. The lights were blinding. The audience clapped like I'd cured heartbreak itself. When they played a short video recap of the great wedding fallout, I couldn't help but laugh. There were my screenshots, my quotes, my face, all over national TV. Then the host turned to me and said, "Rachel, you've become kind of a symbol for standing your ground. What was going through your head when all this started?" I smiled, the kind of smile that comes from surviving something. "Honestly," I said, "I just got tired of being everyone's safety net. I thought if I stopped helping, everything would fall apart. And it did. But that's how I realized what I was holding together wasn't love. It was control." The audience oohed and clapped. It was wild. For the first time, I wasn't embarrassed about what happened. I was proud. I didn't just walk away. I grew up. After the interview, my inbox exploded again. A publishing agent reached out about turning my story into a short memoir. A wedding industry podcast wanted me to talk about boundaries in business. Even a small empowerment brand offered me a collaboration deal. It was insane. I went from crying over family texts to signing contracts that said, "Influencer agreement." Tara called that night and said, "Look at you, boss babe. Turning trauma into trademarks." I laughed. Yeah, who knew petty could pay off? But jokes aside, it wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about freedom. For the first time in forever, I felt like I was building something that was mine, not out of guilt. Not for approval, but because I finally believed in myself. And yeah, my family eventually came around. Mom apologized, a real one this time. Dad started checking in without bringing up Jenna. Even Jenna herself. Sent a message, it was short. "I'm sorry for everything. I didn't realize how much you did until it was too late." I didn't respond right away. I needed time. But I didn't block her either. That felt like progress. Because honestly, forgiveness doesn't always mean reconnection. Sometimes, it just means letting the weight go. A few months later, I was sitting at a cafe downtown, sketching a new client logo, when this girl walked up shyly. "Hey, are you Rachel Dawson?" I blinked. Yeah? She smiled nervously. I just wanted to say thank you. Your story. It gave me the courage to quit a toxic job. I literally watched your video 10 times before I did it. And that's when it hit me. This whole wild, chaotic, messy experience wasn't some failure. It was a beginning. I'd spent years designing other people's dreams. Now I was finally designing my own. I packed up my laptop, walked out into the Austin sun, and smiled. Really smiled. Because I realized something right then. Sometimes, losing everything you thought you needed is the only way to make room for what you actually deserve. But, you know me? Life loves to throw a curveball or two. Because just when I thought I was done telling this story, something happened that made me wonder if my quiet revenge might not be so quiet after all.